All right, so we got our workout in. Time now to talk about sex. Yeah, I said it, S-E-X. It can be uncomfortable, but a new book says it does not have to be that way. And Beyond Birds and Bees, bringing home a new message to our kids about sex, love, and equality, offers American parents different perspectives on raising our kids. Author Bonnie Ruff joins us now. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, thanks so much for having me here.
Great, glad to have you. This, right away, I knew we were in for a ride when I saw chapter 2. Do you remember what it's called?
Chapter 2 is probably Dropping the Fig Leaf.
Dropping the Fig Leaf.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, so let's talk about, it's really interesting to write an entire book like this. Why did you do that?
Well, it's true, too, that it's interesting for me especially because if you had asked me maybe 5 years ago if I would ever write about sex, I would have laughed. That's ridiculous. I would have said I'm not qualified. I'm a mom,
right.
You know, and I'm as uncomfortable as the next person trying to figure out how to talk to my kids about these things. But then life kind of handed me a lesson. We moved as a family to the Netherlands, and at the time, this was a bit farther back than 5 years. My oldest was still just a baby, and I was looking around at how Dutch parents were raising their kids. Because you know when you're a new parent, you're looking for tips everywhere.
Absolutely.
And
need help, right?
Yeah, one of the things that I saw Dutch parents doing was just this incredibly open, straightforward, a comfortable approach with their kids about bodies and sexuality. So what were they doing? They were more comfortable with nudity in general. The little kids might be swimming naked in the community wading pool.
It's no big deal for them.
No, it was no big deal.
That's interesting because I know the Dutch, of course, with the tulips and the windmills, but I had no idea they were such sex experts.
Right. Well, you might.
Sexperts.
Yeah. Right. what I didn't think of myself as, and now hopefully have a few messages on. But yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that you might think that a country that's so open and accepting about human sexuality would also kind of be this sort of debaucherous bedlam of misbehavior, like the worst spring break show you ever saw.
I think we make that jump.
Right. But the truth is, I found out that that Dutch society actually has some of the best sexual health outcomes in the world. American teenagers give birth at more than 5 times the rate of Dutch teenagers. Wow. And unfortunately, we also catch more STIs. And
so what we're doing is not working.
We take more risks. Right. So what we're doing is not working. So to me, that was really fascinating to realize if parents and teachers are starting at a young age with kids, just being open about bodies and answering their questions sometimes even before they ask, and then they're having these incredible outcomes and producing one of the most gender equal societies in the world. I wanted to take a closer look at how they were making that happen.
Chapter 3 is called Finding Words.
Yeah.
And so let's go back. You were talking about a young age. Let's go way young. When you first start talking about these things, you're saying you shouldn't necessarily, say zippity-doo-dah or pee-pee, or you want to use the real terms.
Well, yeah. We have lots of made-up words that are maybe more comfortable to use. But the thing is, we don't make up a funny word for elbow.
True.
We say nose before we say schnoz. We say head before we say noggin. And so it should be the same with genitals. I'll be honest. I had to go to a diagram to make sure that I had the right words for my kids after I was already the mom of 2 little girls. So it's never too late to learn and get started, but I'm glad we did. And after that, use whatever words are comfortable, but make sure that children are equipped with that knowledge so that they can communicate about their own bodies for their own health and safety.
I guess it kind of communicates a message that this is just something natural. It's part of life. This is what you call it. That's it.
You said it exactly. Yeah.
So how old are your kids?
My kids are now 11 and 7.
So do they continually ask you, especially now that you have this book out, do they ask you a lot of questions?
It was an incredible experience. We live in a little Seattle bungalow, and so where I work is mostly the kitchen table, if not in a closet. And so, we find our space where we can. And so for several years, I had articles and books and drafts spread out all over the table.
How long did this take to write?
About, the writing itself took about a year, but I would say I had 3 years of good, hard research once I realized that I wanted to answer that question of how exactly it looks to give our kids an early, open, honest, high-quality sex education in order to get to that great gender equality outcome. So I had stuff spread out around the house for years, so we weren't just inspired to start talking to our kids and approaching sexuality with them in all kinds of more open ways. We were actually required to do it because they might just see something on the table, practice their new reading skills.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
You talk about potty train without shame. What is
Yeah,
that?
That was the coolest thing. We learned from our daughter's preschool teachers in Amsterdam all of these really wonderful ways of just reinforcing a child's body autonomy and comfort in the course of something as simple as potty training. So those teachers made sure to use accurate terminology with kids, and also to make sure, just with something like, and even back to diapering, that diapers aren't stinky or dirty, but they're actually just full or wet or dry.
What's a positive spin on it?
Positive,
or at least
a neutral spin, exactly. And you know what else? Those kids, those little potty trainers in preschool, there was only one bathroom in this sweet little school.
Wow.
No
Yeah.
dividers, and they would all just kind of, all genders, all together. This is normal. Just like you could see my face when I go to the bathroom, you might see another part of me. And ultimately, I think that comfort that they build with each other helps them with egalitarianism throughout their life.
You mentioned gender equality and comfort. Chapter 9 is called No Cooties Allowed. That's interesting, because we were taught about cooties when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
Girls were over here and we were over there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite chapter to write, because I think, you know, we all think it's natural and needs to happen that boys and girls go their separate ways after preschool, but I saw the Dutch example was completely different. Parents and teachers were actually, when they would see little friendships between boys and girls beginning to dissolve, they would take steps to actually reinforce those friendships. And the cool thing about that was that then boys and girls didn't just kind of reconvene in adolescence with that extra kind of hormonal charge. Instead, they had been in relationship and remaining friends all those years in between, so that they didn't seem like strangers to each other.
We saved the most controversial thing for last. We don't have a ton of time. We could talk about this for about 2 days on a 2-day seminar, a 10-week seminar.
Let's do it.
But it's this very controversial, I'm sure. And the Dutch apparently encourage sleepovers with teens.
So this really amazed me at first. You know, I think we spend so much time as American parents thinking about those things that we fear and don't want to have happen, that sometimes we lose sight of the positive side of human sexuality. And so, of course, eventually, humans do become sexually active. For, by the way, American and Dutch teens around the same age, between 17 and 18. But Dutch parents have a different approach than most American parents, which is to say, sex is not forbidden. Sex, even at home, with your girlfriend or boyfriend is not necessarily forbidden, but you need to be in conversation with us. Let us know, let us help you with your decisions, and make sure you're prepared.
Wow. Okay, Bonnie. Well, good luck with this. When did it come out?
It came
How
out
new?
just on the 21st of August, so
Okay.
it's brand new.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It smells new. Got that new print, right? Bonnie's doing a town hall Seattle event called Birds, Bees, and Me Too. It's next Tuesday, September 11th from 7:30 to 9 p.m. It's at the Finney Neighborhood Center Community Hall. And we have a link, by the way, with more info on NewDay's website. Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you so much.
Up next.